had a chance after meeting with Mr. Mason, Mr. Snodgrass, for Mr. Snodgrass to talk to us about what his views were. Met with him later, really enjoyed the conversation. Wanted to let you all see what that was all about. Can you introduce yourself and share a bit about your background in law enforcement, where you came from, what you did?
Okay, so my name is Welzie Snodgrass. I'm 23 years old, and originally I'm from Detroit, Michigan. So I've been in Texas now for almost 2 years. I moved in March 23, and overall I love it here. Before this, I was a jailer for the Wayne County Sheriff's Office for 2 years. Where there, I got to experience all kinds of things with law enforcement. I got to see the court system, the jail system, and I was able to kind of overall see different things to determine that I want to go to patrol work next.
Yeah.
Which is why I came to Texas, because there's more opportunity here. Texas is growing as a whole, whereas Michigan, it feels like that everything has kind of been there since my parents grew up. So that's ultimately why I chose to come to Texas for a fresh start, fresh environment for me and my family.
Okay, and you've got a wife and a daughter.
Yep.
How old is your daughter?
So my daughter's 4 years old.
Okay, and I think you guys are going to love it here in Texas. It's an interesting place to be, especially when you compare it to where you came from, Detroit. No knock on Detroit, but it's just a different environment here.
Yeah, I think it's all about perspective, because ultimately, if someone comes from Texas to Detroit, to them, it's, to them it might be the best thing ever, because, they're not from there. They grew up there. Whereas me coming here, to me it's a big deal, but to them it might not be a big deal, because ultimately they grew up here.
Absolutely.
So it's all about perspective.
What inspired you to pursue a career in policing, and how did you get started?
So originally, believe it or not, growing up, I actually didn't like police officers, despite my dad being one, my uncle being one. I want to say, I grew up at a time where there were a lot of mainstream media news and negative about law enforcement. Particularly people of color being killed, and growing up in Detroit, precisely, being a police officer was something that you kind of did. It was always, seen as, there was a big racial tension between the police department and then, within where I grew up. So ultimately, it's not something I want to do, but I want to say right after high school, I was just figuring out what I want to do. I was looking around, because I knew I graduated, and I know what I want to do. But I saw something with law enforcement, particularly Border Patrol at first, and I thought, oh, well, that's pretty cool. So I'm like, okay, let's look into it. And then as I started looking into it, it looked really interesting. And then from there, and then I started looking, okay, what's local law enforcement like? And then I was able to kind of piece it together, starting with the troopers, how they do things, then Detroit, how they do things. And ultimately, it's something that grew on me over time. And then eventually I thought, okay, I'm not really sure, because, I have a personal belief that, law enforcement doesn't particularly like me because I'm a person of color. Until I actually, ask some officers that work for Detroit, because believe it or not, majority of the Detroit Police Department is African American themselves.
Yeah.
So I was kind of able to ask them throughout time how they like it. And just one day, my mom, who was a proud union member for the UAW, which is the United Auto Workers, she happened to come across Sheriff Napoleon, which is Sheriff of Wayne County, Michigan at the time. And he told me, hey, come work my jails for a year, 2 years, see if you like it. And then from there, we move on to patrol and take a career further.
Oh, okay.
So then took his word for it. I went to the jails. Fortunately, he passed away right before I started the jails. So I still stayed there for 2 years, and then ultimately, that's how I kind of got my foot in the door, which then led to me coming here to Texas.
What are some of the most rewarding aspects of your job as a police officer?
For me, mostly, I say the most rewarding is the fact that I can bond with the people. Because I'm at a small city, a lot of times, I'm not going call to call like most departments. So I have the ability to drive around, get out, talk to people. And one of the most rewarding things is that I arrested a guy for his warrants. He had several warrants out of, cities like Euless, Hearst, I think it was. And, he told me that, he was just a struggling father trying to just do DoorDash for his child who's on the way currently. His wife was pregnant. So I'm like, okay, unfortunately I had a job to do, but I told him, hey, if you're serious about finding a job, I can help you find some resources. And me moving to Texas, I didn't have the most resources either. I kind of just up and moved here without really a plan, but I just knew that I had a goal in mind. So using resources that I've built being here the last, almost 2 years, I was able to kind of give him a contact like, hey, this guy needs a job. He has a child on the way. I'm not saying that, he's a good person or anything like that, but I'm saying to, at least look at him and talk to him, give him a shot. And also, he was able to get a job, It's not exactly the most high-pricing job in the world, but considering where he was, having no job at all, at least something to build from.
And you definitely have to crawl before you can walk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, for when he told me in jail, he told me that's all you wanted was just something, bring some sort of income so he can at least start.
Yes.
And I was able to kind of put him in position to kind of go to Subway and at least make some sort of money, put food on the table for now, kind of build a foundation. So that way before y'all gets here, he'll be at least stable.
Can you describe a particularly challenging case or situation that you've encountered during your job as a police officer?
So working midnights, ultimately a lot of times I work alone. My backup could be at the neighboring agency, could be the sheriff's office, but depending on where they are or what they're doing, they could be busy or it could take them a while to get to me. Mm-hmm. So one of the challenging things that I have is a lot of times, whenever I make a traffic stop and there's 4 people in the car and one of them has a warrant, a lot of times it forces me to kind of really think, okay, how do I want to approach this traffic stop? How do I want to make them most relaxed as possible and not really, create any tension between us? Because I'm ultimately by myself.
Yeah.
So, kind of one of the things that I think about is, is the warrant necessarily that serious? Is it something that, I can let go? Or, being so new, I want to go out here and make these stops and take bad people off the streets. But that moment, it forced me to really think, is it really worth it? Considering that, my backup is 20 minutes away, 15 minutes away?
That's right, because it's a smaller agency that you work for. It's not like you've got a few thousand officers that, or in that agency with a few thousand or a couple of thousand. On a shift like that, you might have, 50 officers in your district working, or even 30. But you don't have that. So you have to think proactively as to how you take care of yourself.
Yeah, I say nothing about the most challenging was when I got called to a domestic violence call. And it was between a husband and wife. Now, apparently the husband had been drinking and him and his wife got into a physical altercation. Now, from call notes, I was told that she just locked herself in the car and he's trying to get into the car. But she was able to unlock the front door for me so I could get in, kind of break up the situation, help out, kind of solve everything. So when I get there, I hear the screaming and yelling. I hear her screaming for help. This is an exigent circumstance. And when I called for backup, when I heard screaming and yelling, I was told immediately right there, Saginaw doesn't have anybody available to help. Or Fort Worth doesn't have anybody to help at the moment. So it kind of put me in a position where, okay, I really have to go in this home alone by myself. Now, luckily, the sheriff's office came by and they were able to kind of listen by it and go, okay, we're available, we're going to come help. But in that moment, I really had to kind of plan my next move because this is a domestic violence situation. It's me by myself. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. It's dark.
Wow.
And yeah, that really was most challenging, but thankfully the sheriff's office there kind of helped me out. And yeah, having those, 3-4 pairs of hands to help out really made it a whole lot better.
How do you approach building relationships within the community you serve?
Oh, that's easy. Just get out and talk to them. Just get out and talk to them. Because for the most part, I think depending on where you work, the culture it is, the city you live in, it could be negative, could be positive. But where I'm at now, for the most part, it's really positive. I can get out and just, sit down with somebody and talk to them for 15 minutes. A lot of times it's always positive. They go, hey, my daughter's having a baby shower. You should come by. I'll go, sure. And then I'll get baby wipes. I won't stay for a baby shower, but I'll come by.
So you'll bring something.
Yeah, I'll bring baby wipes. Because we're a small city, so that's kind of one of the bonuses is that we can build relationships about people.
Yeah.
We're not going to call to call.
Yes.
And so we have a lot of time actually, to talk to people.
Can you discuss a moment that made you realize the impact you have on people's lives? And you're saying it's traffic stops.
Yeah, because a lot of times whenever I come across people, you know, me writing them that ticket kind of break them or make them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, because of the city I work, it's not exactly a city where, you know, there's a lot of money coming in.
Exactly.
You know, these are most times low-income people.
Okay.
So a lot of times, me writing this ticket could possibly ruin their lives or ruin whatever it is they have, stability they have going on.
Yes.
And with this woman on traffic stop that I had with the two toddlers, you know, I could see that she couldn't really afford that, even have insurance.
Yeah.
And like it, you know, this is where the color of the law and letter of the law kind of come into play. Because a lot of times, you know, I'm not here to exactly, you know, just go, okay, I'm write your ticket, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of talk to her, see what we can do. You know, I didn't write her a ticket, but what I did do is I had on my lights. She lived 5 minutes down the road. I followed her all the way home.
Yeah.
I followed her all the way home. Make sure that, you know, people see us
Mm-hmm.
and people see her. And I just knew for a fact, because I could see it in her face. If I would have wrote her a ticket, it would have put her so far back. I don't know what she was going through. She tried to explain. I said, hey, you don't even have to explain.
You know, and these are things we explain in the academy about real life situations versus the textbook, you know, version that you get from some instructor, right?
Yeah.
You get to see that firsthand, how you impact people's lives, whether it be a good way or a bad way. But you're always shooting to impact it positively.
Oh yeah, because those tickets cost a lot of money.
Yes.
So someone who's in the lower income part, you know, of Texas, that $500 ticket could really set them back on rent, bills they have going on. Because ultimately, with a ticket, you have to decide, you know, do you want to pay it, or eventually, like you want to have a warrant for your arrest.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of one thing that I see is I impact most lives on traffic stops.
What is your perspective on the current state of policing in the U.S. in America right now?
I think it's growing. It's growing in a more positive light because
Great.
these last couple decades, honestly, I want to say for when my father was a police officer, you know, there was still a negative aspect of it, you know, but during those times, there weren't really as many cameras to really capture.
Exactly.
And kind of one thing I noticed is that, you know, typically in the news, at least, you know, the good things a lot of times really don't kind of sell, you know, as like the bad does, because ultimately, you know, the news reports on a lot of bad things going on in the world.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we really don't see the positive things. But I think with social media now, you know, with the structures that we have now, and for us who've made mistakes and teach us better going forward, I think it's growing, becoming more positive.
And it used to be, man, you look at a social media feed, it was always something negative. Some police officer beating on somebody, choking them, punching them, kicking them. But we are starting to see a trend where we see the better side of police officers, aren't we? That's a good thing.
Oh yeah, I think so, because I think now with you know, my generation, you know, younger officers, I think now we're really starting to kind of see all the mistakes that people have made in the past.
Yes.
And we're starting to really follow the policy, knowing the front and back of it. Because
that's important.
Yeah, because one thing that I was taught, you know, is that policy will keep you out of jail. Policy will keep you your job.
Exactly.
And I think nowadays, because, you know, there's cameras everywhere, you know, we're being trained like, hey, follow this accordingly.
Yes.
You know, and here's the mistakes people made in the past. Here's how here's how you cannot follow the same footsteps that they had. So I think the older generation of officers that we have are really shaping us better going forward.
Absolutely.
So and I think now we have more humans being police officers now than just people being robots following the like law. I think now we have more humans.
Don't the citizens, they appreciate that more though, don't they? To see the human side.
Oh yeah, because I think there's kind of a perception that troopers, you know, are just always going to write you a ticket.
Yes.
But you actually talk to them, you know, or see them at traffic stops, they actually talk to you as if they're regular people.
Exactly.
You know, hey, how you doing, sir? You know, they're trying to bond with you on the stop, and a lot of times, you know, they really just want you to be safe.
Yeah.
That's really all it is.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, I think we picture ourselves in that car. We see ourselves, and we see that negative perception that people may have of us.
Yes.
And, you know, we just try to change it, you know, by letting them know, like, hey, You're human, I'm human. We're the exact same.
How has technology changed the way you approach policing?
Well, seeing how it was in the older days, the big computers,
Yes.
a lot of times give returns in 5-10 minutes.
Exactly.
Now it's changed dramatically now, and a lot of times, I think it helps us, connect with the people more.
Uh-huh.
Thankfully, I came up in a generation where came up with technology.
Exactly. Yes.
So now
You're not afraid of it.
No. So now it's faster.
Yes.
My traffic stops go by way faster because a lot of times I tell somebody, hey, I don't have chances of writing you a ticket.
Yes.
But hey, I'm just checking on you because your tail lights were off.
Yes.
So I'm traffic stopping and tell you.
Yes.
A lot of times I could just take the license, take a cell phone, scan the barcode on the back, and all that, and prints all their names.
Yes.
And then for that, just put in the violation and print. It takes about 30 seconds, if that.
How do you ensure that you remain fair and impartial while you're carrying out your duties?
I just think about what if this was my mom on this call? What if it was my grandmother, my sister? What if it's myself? What would I want? For myself if I was in their shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times, someone going 20 miles over speed limit. Me personally, I know myself, that's a ticket. I know I was wrong. I know I was speeding. I know I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm going 10 over, 9 over, maybe just, at threshold that I have, no.
And you set your own threshold.
Oh, yeah.
About what you think fair is.
So I go, okay, no, they're going to work, they're coming home, they're trying to make money, maybe they're on lunch break,
Yes.
and they're trying to get back.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I understand those things because I've been there. So from there, I just go, okay. I just act like they're my mother. And a lot of times whenever I stop people of the older generation, I see my mother. So from there, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And then I just treat them with respect. That's all it is.
That's outstanding. That is outstanding. What are your thoughts on police training, and what areas do you believe you need improvement, or policing needs improvement? Not just you. What areas could we improve in training new police officers coming in?
So it's going to have to be fitness and talking skills. Because ultimately, a lot of times when people come out of academy, they're 18, 19, 20, depending on where you live.
Yes.
A lot of times these are people.
But in Texas, it's 21.
Yeah, 21.
Yes.
So, but even at age 21, a lot of times you're still fresh out of high school, I think. And, you really don't have too much life experience just yet.
Yes.
So I think, going on calls, you don't know what it's like to be through divorce. You don't know what it's like to, have these type of life struggles going on.
Absolutely.
So I think a lot of times, we have to kind of really just have these people sit down with people and just talk. Learn how to talk to people. Talk to your family. Talk to, different strugglers. Really just talk in that aspect. Then as far as fitness, I believe confidence, something that a lot of officers, in the past kind of necessarily didn't have. So in the academy, I would like to see more fitness and more training for defensive tactics.
Okay.
A lot of times, I'm not going to be having, a baton yelling, get back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be doing that.
Yes.
A lot of times I think jiu-jitsu, for us at least, is kind of the better aspect of it because it's more hands-on. I don't have to exactly reach for my taser or for my gun. I can have the confidence that, hey, I can at least get this person's hands behind his back, and restrain him to put handcuffs on. So this is over.
How do you celebrate successes and milestones in your department? I mean, have you had anything spectacular or very interesting that happened that you were very encouraged by, and how you handle it? How did you celebrate it?
So a lot of times for us being a small agency,
yes,
we see our council meetings a lot of times. So we're able to see people come in and have their own complaints with the city for what they have.
Okay.
I remember a lot of times, whether it's on Facebook or where they come in, they'll say, hey, we have this house, this home, these people are selling narcotics, and we don't like how it's affecting our community.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember on one particular traffic stop, the guy had lots of narcotics in the vehicle, and we were able to take him off the streets and remove a lot of narcotics from the traffic stop.
Wow.
And I was able to go home and kind of say, okay, I feel good knowing that, I was able to take this person off the street who's selling narcotics to these children,
Yes.
these people in the street. I was able to take at least this person away from our community. So, I'm not exactly, go out, celebrate, but I was able to kind of just, have in the back of mind that, I was able to do a good thing in the
Absolutely.
shadows.
You did a lot of self-reflecting on that. Yeah. Okay.
And then a lot of times it helped me learn, because now going forward, I know what to look for, and that helps me, because now I'm able to talk to people, kind of see, what it is that they have complaints about, and then whenever it is I achieve, by taking away one of their complaints,
Yes.
I just reflect on it day by day and go, okay, I did at least one good thing today to
Absolutely.
help out my community.
How do you, Welzie, envision the future of law enforcement evolving over the next 10 years? I mean, you're young. How old are you now?
23.
A youngster. So you're going to be here, hopefully, I mean, as you evolve in this, this profession. How do you see it changing? How do you see it evolving in our profession?
It's hard to say, because technology is moving extremely fast.
Exactly, yeah.
And because for me growing up, we were just learning about social media. At the time when I was a little kid, it was MySpace. Now it's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Technology is now growing, because now we have AI coming into the picture. So I think as technology evolves, we kind of have to keep up with the technology.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'll be able to, because I'm seeing my mom keep up with the technology that we have now, and
Yeah.
I don't think she can.
Okay.
But I think with technology now, I believe now it's going to come easier, to kind of do our jobs, because we'll have more resources. There'll be more tools at our disposal. Because back then, during the older times, they didn't have shields. A lot of times when I see officers going through high priority calls, they didn't have shields. A lot of times they didn't have helmets.
Yes.
They didn't have all the equipment needed to say stop a threat.
Yes.
Where now technology is getting more advanced. You have red dots, you have lights, you have shields, you have more protection.
You're seeing departments with. I can remember, for instance, my first ballistic vest I wore felt like it weighed a ton, but now they're so thin.
Yep, so it's not thin, they're stab proof,
Yes.
more protection. Now, I was back in the day, the officer would have to go in the house to get somebody, where now, they can just send a drone in there.
Exactly. Yes.
So it's getting more, I'll say it's getting easier to do our jobs, and we're able to kind of be safer and be able to kind of go home. So I think as technology grows further, it's going to come even more safer.
How can civilians best support their local police department, in your opinion?
Just go talk to them. Because a lot of times with officers, whether it's a big city or small city, a lot of times with recent times, it feels like there's a disconnect. Citizens don't understand how we do our jobs, or a lot of times citizens go, well, they're not exactly understanding our perspectives from our citizen side. A lot of times people will assume that law enforcement officers, they are the badge. They take the career too serious, but I think bigger way to support it is just come talk to us. Get to know us as people. Do ride logs with people. Learn how they do things and kind of build a connection. Because ultimately, for both sides, whenever both needs help, they know the person that is coming to save them. They know the person that's coming to their aid.
Yeah.
Or police side, if you get called to person, you're connected. You know exactly what they need before they even tell you what it is they need. It's kind of like, with me and my siblings. A lot of times, I can see what they need, with their face before they even tell me. So I think citizens, kind of need to just, support. Come talk to us. Talk to us about your day. Ask us how we feel about certain things. Build that connection. Because honestly, for me growing up, a lot of times law enforcement officers kind of felt like robots. They were there. If I was wrong.
Back in that time, did they even talk to you? I mean, unless they were scolding you for something. Did you feel like that they were approachable?
Not at all. Not at all.
But today, I mean, you want people to see that you're approachable.
And I find it so important how I can just be at Starbucks and get some drink, or just at Chipotle, and someone go, hey, I thank you for your service. I know it's hard, but I thank you for your service. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And it means a lot, because a lot of times the civilians don't know what it is we had just dealt with that called prior.
Yeah.
I've seen some officers go to someone where they have overdose, and they have to take all the measures to save this person's life. But they go to the next call, and it's loud music, So you go from something really serious to something really not so serious.
Exactly, yeah.
And a lot of times, just going to them and saying, "Hey, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you." That means a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's something that recently we really don't hear as much.
Yes, yes.
So
So you really, I mean, your big thing is you want the citizens to know that you're approachable.
yeah,
And that's how you build relationships.
yeah. Even though I'm wearing this vest that looks that made some people look like intimidating,
Yes.
but honestly it's just to help me prolong my career. That's all it's for.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of times, I think if it's just they come up and talk to us and ask us, we'll sit down and have a conversation, and then we will really build a strong bond going forward. Because that's also what it is. It's bond between your law enforcement and your citizen.
All right, so I'm going to just say this. Welzie Snodgrass, thank you so much. I'm so proud that I was one of the instructors in your life. I think you're going to do well in this career.
Yeah, Mr. You taught me a whole lot.
All right, Mr. Snodgrass, we really appreciate that opportunity for this interview. Thank you so much for being a part of the visit.